So Mika Brzezinski went off on Donald Trump on MSNBC on the show Morning Joe. This went viral. Now, she's upset that Trump has gone on Twitter, and a couple times he's taken shots at Joe Scarborough, because Joe Scarborough, of course, has taken shots at him. These guys used to be buddy-buddy. Now they hate each other. But one of the things Trump keeps bringing up is that when, I believe it was when Joe Scarborough was in Washington, D.C., when he was a congressman. I know a lot of you might not know that Joe Scarborough was a congressman. He was. But one of his staffers died. And, you know, there's speculation that he was involved in it somehow. Honestly, I don't know. I hesitate to talk about the story at all because I just don't know, and I never looked into it, and I don't really care. But it is exactly the kind of thing Trump would go after somebody on because, you know, this is the guy, people forget, this is the guy who went after Ted Cruz's dad and said, like, Ted Cruz's dad killed JFK. What? I got a lot of issues with Ted Cruz. That is not one of them. So anyway, this is what Trump does. He says, you know, he'll attack you, and he'll attack you in a million ways, and it'll be vicious, and it'll be over the top, and this is one of those ways where he's going after Morning Joe, and he's, you know, basically trying to say, like, oh, you murdered your staffer or something, but he's not saying it directly, he's dancing around it. Whatever, that's not the point. Mika Brzezinski was watching Trump say all this stuff. She goes on her show and she says this.
Willie and Mike, he's tweeting again, all sorts of crazy things. Once again, tweeting conspiracy theories about Joe, falsely accusing him of murder, talking about the death of a young staffer in his congressional office years ago, and calling him dangerous to walk the streets. And I will just say, I'll take a point of personal privilege here. That's sick. Donald, you're a sick person. You're a sick person. To put this family through this, to put her husband through this, to do this just because you're mad at Joe because Joe got you again today, because he speaks the truth. And he speaks plainly about your lack of interest and empathy in others and your lack of ability to handle this massive human catastrophe, the fact that you've made it worse and that you make it worse every day and that you won't even wear a mask to protect people from your germs. But the germs you're spreading on Twitter, first of all, Twitter, you shouldn't be allowing this, and you should be taking these tweets down, and you should be ashamed of yourself. You'll be hearing from me on this because this is BS. But Donald, you're a sick person. You're really a cruel, sick, disgusting person. And you can keep tweeting about Joe, but you're just hurting other people. And of course, you're hurting yourself.
So she, true to form, she went on Twitter afterwards and she said the following. I will be reaching out to the head of Twitter about their policies being violated every day by President Trump. Hope my call is taken. Please retweet if you agree. And of course, the responses were over the top. Everybody was calling her this new thing. Well, I don't know how new it is anymore, but, you know, you call these like middle-aged or older white women who are like really tedious and annoying. You call them like Karens. And so everybody was calling Mika Brzezinski a Karen, who's like, I want to speak to the manager of Twitter, please. I have an issue that needs to be taken care of. It's so wild to me. Like, these are the things that I get it. Her and Joe Scarborough. I don't know if they're married now or if they're just dating or whatever. But so she's like super offended that Trump's going after Joe. Okay. Nobody cares. I don't know how to say this kindly, Mika. Nobody cares. Like, even Trump's own people probably read that thing where he's, you know, accusing Joe and the staffer and maybe something bad happened there. Open cold case. That's what Trump was saying as well. Open code case, investigate it. And it's like, even Trump's own people are not actually like, oh yeah, Joe Scarborough is a murderer. That's terrible. I think their reaction is the same as the thing I mentioned before of like when he accused Ted Cruz's dad of like killing JFK. He's kind of just trolling. Now, I'm not excusing it because he's wrong. Like, he's dead wrong. He's wrong to accuse, Ted Cruz's dad of killing JFK. He's probably wrong about the Joe Scarborough thing, although I haven't looked into it and I really don't know and I can't say one way or the other. But, like, I think the thing that frustrates me about this is of all the things to get outraged by, it's like, you attacked my lover and it was mean and it was rude and I didn't like it. And also the way she goes after him, it's all like character stuff. It's like, you're a sick man. You're a sick, sick man. No empathy. You're spreading germs by not wearing a mask. You know what else you're doing? You're spreading germs on Twitter. What? Come on. And then the whole thing about reaching out to the head of Twitter. There is an outside chance that, yes, what he's saying is like libelous. Is it libel or slander? I always forget which one is the written word one versus which one is the spoken word. It's a very, very outside chance that it's like libel or slander. But, reading through the tweets about it, he's sufficiently vague enough and that it's really not. Like, he would win any court battle if you sued him or whatever over this. He'd be like, no, I said it's an open cold case and they should look into it. That's all I said. So there's enough wiggle room there and it's vague enough where nobody could do anything about it. You can't like really win a lawsuit against Trump for saying what he's saying here, even if Joe is totally innocent. And when it comes to Twitter, I mean, listen, Trump has violated the terms of service on Twitter a million times. That's clear. And if you want to make a case like, well, come on, man, like when he was threatening war with North Korea, like casually through tweets, like, whoa, what are you doing? That seems like it violates the terms of service. Sure. But it's like, he's the president of the United States. He's going to get his word out no matter what the hell he does, whether it's, through an Oval Office address or through Facebook or through some other medium. What he says is by definition newsworthy. So, like, it's like when What's-Her-Face leaned into it on the campaign trail. Kamala Harris made it her main thing on the campaign trail became, we need to ban Donald Trump from Twitter. And her poll numbers went, bloop. Even Democrats were like, really? Is what you're going to do? This is how you're going to stand up to Trump? Is like, he shouldn't be allowed on Twitter. I'm going to call the manager too. I know you think it comes across as like I'm crusading for justice and I'm being strong and I'm being a leader. But really, it comes across as just as petty and narcissistic and silly as Trump. Like, it is censorship. It is deplatforming. It is like, I don't like what you say, so I'm going to try to stop you from having the ability to say anything. Well, then I kind of get why people are calling you Karen. I kind of see that. Like that. So I don't know. On the one hand, I do feel bad for her because I'm sure her husband, I'm not sure, but it's overwhelmingly likely her husband didn't do anything wrong in that situation. And so she's, or boyfriend, whatever he is to her. And like, yeah, it's upsetting. Sure. You don't want Trump dragging anybody's name through the mud if you like him and care about him. But at the same time, it's like, get over it. Honestly, nobody cares. Nobody's, watching that and is like, it's Trump. It's Trump being Trump. That's not an excuse for him acting like that, but it is a description of what is. And it's very telling that the thing that brought this kind of a reaction out of Mika Brzezinski, it's not Trump continuing to bomb 8 different countries. It's not him continuing the Iraq war and the Afghanistan war. It's not him signing a pro-torture executive order as he did probably a year or two into his time in office. It's not the, offshoring of outsourcing of 93,000 jobs that happened in just his first year. It's not the bill he signed that takes away your internet privacy rights, a bill that only had a 13% approval rating. The entire country hated it. Donald Trump signed that. It's not the 2017 GOP tax cut bill, which gave 83% of the benefits to the top 1%, and in the long run, it screws working people and actually raises their taxes if they make $70,000 or less per year. I can go on and on here with all the terrible things that he did, all the deregulation of Wall Street, the destruction of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, taking money for his inauguration from the predatory payday loan industry, then dropping every single lawsuit that was going on against that industry. There's so many things to be like outraged by and upset by and to rant about, and to the corruption and the violation of the emoluments clause and, being Saudi Arabia's bitch and Israel's bitch and like all this stuff. But the thing that she drew a line, I'm going to get you kicked off Twitter. How dare you? Was Trump basically talking smack and trolling, talking about Joe Scarborough. See, but that's the thing, and this is why this is annoying. It's like there's a little elite insular club, and to them, the biggest crime you could ever commit is pissing off somebody else in that club. To them, that's the biggest crime you could ever commit. You want to commit war crimes? You want to do torture? You want to totally rig the economy? You want to let Wall Street loot the Treasury? All of that, totally fine and dandy. It's just a difference of opinion. But how dare you besmirch the name of somebody else in the club? Now you crossed the line. Now I'm going to go on my show and scream about it. And now I'm going to try to get you banned from Twitter. As if an MSNBC host calling Jack, and Jack's going to be like, okay, I guess I'll ban him. Thank you, Mika. Oh, man. I hate everything. Is that clear?